Green Tree Productions is proud to present Duncanville Weekly News on the World Wide Web. It's the good news just for the City of Champions, Duncanville, Texas. And now, here's your host, John Thompson.
Hello, world, America, Texas, and Duncanville, and welcome to this edition of Duncanville Weekly News for the last part of April 2014. Glad you're logged on and watching. Well, on this show, we're going to see some scenes from Duncan Switch, which occurred the third Saturday of the month, and hopefully probably will happen every month from here on. And as you can see, we're going to be here in the Panther dugout, and Coach Fahey is going to go over the last 5 Panther games with us and look ahead to the future. But first, the boys soccer team finally got knocked off, and here's the final soccer update.
It's time for the soccer update on Duncanville Weekly News, featuring highlights and recaps of DHS soccer. The soccer update is brought to you this week by Duncanville Optical, featuring polycarb lenses. And now, here's the Duncanville High School soccer update.
The DHS boys ended a great season with a 22-2 record, the District 7-5A championship, by district and area champs before falling 2-0 to the Region 1 quarterfinals winner and last year's state champion Coppell, who went on to win the Region 1 championship but fell in the state championship game to Fort Bend Clement. Congratulations, Coach Passos and the Panthers, for the best soccer season we've had in Duncanville in quite a while.
Hello, this is Duncanville Optical.
If someone in your family has an active lifestyle, they may benefit from polycarb lenses in their eyeglasses. You won't see double in polycarb lenses from Duncanville Optical. Polycarb lenses are thinner, lighter weight, and 10 times stronger than standard plastic lenses. When you need eyeglasses, please remember Duncanville Optical, 533 West Wheatland Road in Duncanville. Call today to find out about our polycarb lenses, 972-298-5800.
Hello, I'm former Mayor David Green. For 8 years I was mayor for the city of Duncanville, and I really appreciated the time I had to spend with the city and develop economic development programs, work with an outstanding city staff. You know, economic development is so important for our city because we are a bedroom community. And being a bedroom community, the major tax burden falls upon the citizens and not on businesses. In the last 2 years, we have seen our economic development go from about $10 million a year down to almost zero. The current council has vacated our economic development board, replaced the board with 4 of the council. They have terminated our economic development director, and we just do not have economic development going on to any extent at all in Duncanville. So I'm very, very concerned about this, because we've got to get back to the point to where we're bringing in new businesses, redeveloping what we have so that we can create a larger tax base. Because as costs go up, we hire employees, the pay rates are going up. We've got to be able to pay for this without putting undue burden on our taxpayers. Duncanville is a great place to live, but we've got to be able to produce and to work as a council. We've got to be able to work together, and we have not done that in the last 2 years. So that's why many of my friends have asked me if I would consider running again, so that we might be able to really put together a good economic development package with a good board and a good director, and that we might be able to let them guide us as they find leads and as they attempt to bring in businesses. Then the council can work to make the programs work for Duncanville. So I would ask that you would consider your vote in this upcoming election. Vote for David Green And remember that early voting starts on April the 28th and runs through May the 6th, and then the actual voting day is on May the 10th. Thank you very much.
As you probably know, local elections are right around the corner, and here's the lineup. In the district city elections, in District 2, CPA and longtime businessman Stephen Rutherford is challenging incumbent Stephen Jones, who some call a puppet. In District 4, Mark Cooks has vacated the seat, so Grady Smithy, a very experienced councilman, is running. Other candidates in the race are Lorraine Hood Jack, Ronald Dotson, if he has time, and Kimberly Beard. In the mayoral race are in combat Deborah Hodge and former Mayor David Green. District 4 Councilman and Mayor Pro Tem Mark Cooks is switching races for this election. In the school board trustee election, only 2 places are up this year for the 3-year terms. In place 4, incumbent Lewis McElroy is being challenged by Renee McNeely. And in place 5, there are 2 candidates who have both been unsuccessful at this effort a time or 2 in the past, Patrick LeBlanc and Elijah Granger. And this time, one of them is going to win. Election day is May the 10th, and early voting, mostly at the Duncanville Library, starts Monday the 28th of this month. You can get a much better idea about who to vote for by attending the Candidates Forum, the 31st annual, sponsored by the Duncanville Chamber of Commerce and the Duncanville Rotary Club. These other so-called Candidates Forums are just pep rallies for their favorite candidates. If a candidate doesn't show up for this one, it's telling you that they are scared or that they can't defend their record if they're an incumbent. It's Thursday, the 24th, at the Shined Performance Hall at DHS at 7 o'clock. Be there or watch the next show to see where you can go see it on the internet.
It's springtime in Texas, and that means Duncanville Panther baseball right here on Duncanville Weekly News and the Panther Dugout Show. The Panther Dugout Show brings us highlights of the past few baseball games and a peek ahead to the next games. The Panther Dugout Show features DHS head baseball coach Scott Fahey and is brought to us by James Memorial Chapel, the Pope Financial Group of Raymond James & Associates, the Wolverton Company, by Leon Miller Commercial Properties. Call Leon at 972-709-7181. Chubby's Restaurant for breakfast, lunch, and dinner on Cockrell Hill Road.
Ambit Energy. You have power options. Call energy specialist Don McBurnett.
And now in the Panther Dugout, here's John with Coach Scott Fahey.
Hello, baseball fans, and welcome back to the Panther Dugout Show. As you can see, Coach Scott Fahey, the Duncanville High School Panther baseball coach, is here. And we're going to talk about 5 games that the Panthers have played recently. And we're going to start with the district games against one of the best, Mansfield, one that's not so good, Grand Prairie, and then a non-district game. And so, Scott, take off and tell us about those games.
All right. Grand Prairie traveled to Duncanville for another 5A district baseball game. Panthers come into this one at 5-3, looking to pick up their 6th win. We started Jordan Daly, senior number 13, on the mound. And in the bottom of the 2nd, with no score, Zach Red leads off with a walk. That's followed by a bunt to the mound by Daly to advance Zach to second base. Tanner Holt then comes up and hits a ground ball to the shortstop, who throws it high and wide at first. That scores Zach as Tanner ends up safe at second. Francisco Salceda then hits a line drive in the right field. That puts runners at first and third for the Panthers. And with runners at the corner, David Cron hits a ground ball to a drawn-in infield. That scores Tanner Holt from third to make the score 2-0 Panthers. In the bottom of the third, with the score still 2-0, Oz Salinas hits a line drive down the left field line. It stays fair, and Oz ends up with a double. Next batter is Blake Dial. He lays down a drag bunt towards the third baseman, and nobody can handle the ball, and Blake's safe at first to put runners at first and third. TJ Giselbach then hits a sharp line drive in the left field. That scores Salinas from third, and on the error by the left fielder, Blake Dial comes all the way around from first to score also. Panthers now lead 4-0 with one out and TJ on third. Daly then hits a ground ball to the third baseman, and it's bobbled, but he still recovers to make a good play on TJ at the plate for the second out of the inning. In the bottom of the fifth, still 4-0, TJ hits a ground ball back up the middle. Second baseman dives for it but can't make a play. And then with two outs and TJ on third, after a couple steals, Jordan singles hard through the left side to make the score 5-0. Jordan then steals second to put another runner in scoring position. And later in the at-bat, Tanner Holt hits a ground ball back up the middle. The shortstop gloves it, makes a throw to first. The throw's late, and Daly's able to score from second base on a ground ball to short. That made the score 6-0, and that is all that the Panthers would need, as number 13 gets the final out in the top of the seventh with a pop-up to first base in Tanner's glove. Daly finished the night with a 2-hit shutout and pitched extremely well and made the Panthers' record improve to 6-3. The Panthers then traveled to Mansfield High School for a Friday night district game. Mansfield's up at the top at the district standings. We send senior Tony Dominguez to pitch against Mansfield. In the top of the fourth, trailing 2-0, TJ gets a hold of one with a good swing and puts it well over the fence at Mansfield High. Probably bounced off of one of the roofs back there. That's TJ's first home run of the year, and he got all of it. It was a no-doubter. It's good to see TJ get that home run and this big grin on his face. After 3.5, Panthers trailed 2-1. We then pick up action in the top of the seventh with the score 8-1 Mansfield. Salceda walks. After a pass ball with Salceda on second, Blake Dial walked. And then TJ provided some more offense with a one-hop double into the left center field gap that played to both Salceda and Dial. The Panthers continue to rally. Zach Red follows with a single in the left field. That puts runners at first and third for the Panthers. And then the final chance for the Panthers to extend the game ends with a ground ball to second by Jordan and a forced play at second. Tigers win this matchup 8-3. Panthers record falls to 6-4 in district. We then traveled to W.T. White for a Saturday non-district game. Former Panther player Ralph Ross, a member of the 1990 state championship team, is an assistant coach at W.T. White. In the top of the second, with no score, Jordan leads off with a drag bunt to the third baseman. That's then followed by a ground ball by Tony that is thrown badly by the pitcher, and everybody's safe. We have runners at first and second. Tanner Holt then lays down a nice bunt that advances both runners to second and third. And with one out, Raul Franco Gonzalez, it's a ground ball back through the middle that plates the Panthers' first run to take a 1-0 lead. Panthers still had runners at first and third, but could not push any more runs across that inning. Then we pick up action in the top of the seventh, trailing 8-1, with 2 on and 2 out, and a ball in the dirt, and the umpire said he swung at that pitch, and that's what the coaches are talking about right there. I can't believe they called that strike 3. But after this one, Panthers fall 8-1 to W.T. White. So with a couple weeks left in district play, this week with DeSoto and SGP, we really need to go 2-0 this week to put us in pretty good position for a decent playoff push. The DeSoto Eagles then traveled to Panther Field for a Tuesday night District 7-5A game. That's former Duncanville football coach Kerry Cajahero, who had a son that played here back in the late 90s. We again start Jordan Daly on the mound against the Eagles. They put a run up in the first without getting a hit. And as we pick up action in the bottom of the second, Daly leads off with a missile hit down the left field line for a stand-up double. That gets the Panthers offense started early in this one. Tony then lays down a bunt, a great bunt. Everybody's safe until the DeSoto first baseman throws across the diamond, and on a questionable call, an appeal, an argument, and debate by both umpires, they somehow conjure up this idea that Jordan Daly's out at third base. And there's a home plate umpire telling me that he saw a tag and didn't know when the tag occurred, but he saw a tag, so they called him out. Anyways, Salceda then extends the inning with a walk to put runners at first and second. And then with 2 outs, Raul hits a flare in the shallow right field that scores Tony all the way from second base. As Salceda came to third base, that was all the Panthers could muster in the second, as the score was tied 1-1. In the bottom of the fourth, Jordan comes up again and hits another long double to the left center field gap. Panthers again have action with a man in score position. Tony then lays down another bunt. This gets Daly to third base as the throw is wide. And everybody's safe again. Jordan made a good adjustment on that play instead of having the same result as a previous. Then with first and third and nobody out, Tanner executes an excellent safety squeeze. Jordan gets a good read at third, and we push a run across and put another guy at second base, but that was the only run we could score that inning. And picking up action with 2 outs in the top of the seventh, score 2-1. DeSoto gets their first hit with a line drive single back through the middle by first baseman Jeff Davis. The next hitter then singles with a line drive in the left field in front of Salceda. And the Eagles have a small rally going. Next batter hits a ground ball to short. And with no play at any base, this loads the bases with 2 outs. But Jordan comes through in the clutch with the bases loaded, 2-out strikeout with a tying run at third and a go-ahead run at second. As the Panthers pick up another key win in District 7-5A. The Warriors of South Grand Prairie traveled to Panther Field on Friday night. Tony Dominguez defeated SGP at their field 2-1 earlier in the district season. In the bottom of the third, trailing 1-0, with Oz now at second base and 1 out. TJ hits a chopper towards the left side that he beats out to put runners at first and third. With Zach Red at the plate, after a stolen base by Giselbach, a ground ball back to the middle with a drawn-in infield plates 2 runs, and the Panthers go ahead by a score of 2-1 and a clutch single by number 5, Zach Red. That was all the Panthers could muster in the bottom of the third, and after 3 full, the Panthers lead 2-1. Now in the top of the 7th, with the score still 2-1, with 2 on and 2 out, the leadoff hitter hits a long fly ball to the deepest part of the field. That double plates 2 runs, and SGP now has a 3-2 lead with 2 outs in the top of the 7th. The next pitch, as it always happens, gets popped up for an easy out, and the Panthers come to their last at bat. Dial leads off the 7th with a chopper to third and legs it out for an infield single. TJ then comes up and hits the ball off the cap with a ton of English on it. Second baseman fields it but has no play or no throw, and that puts runners at first and second for the Panthers as they mount a last inning rally. Zach then comes up, puts down a perfect bunt, and that pulls the second baseman off the bag to load the bases with nobody out. SGP argued that the player's foot was on the bag, but didn't work out. With Jordan Daly at the plate, the game gets tied with a pass ball. That moves the runners up to second and third, and with first base open, they intentionally walk Jordan to load up the bases. And if you notice, SGP has 5 infielders. On an 0-1 count, Tony swings and misses to make the count 0-2. And then on an 0-2 count, Tony lines a line drive in the right field and let the celebration begin. As TJ scores from third, the game-winning run, the team mobs Tony on his way back to the dugout as the Panthers come back in dramatic fashion to beat SGP by a score of 4-3. We told Tony coming off the field in the 7th he was going to get a chance to drive in the winning run, and sure enough, he got the chance and delivered as the Panthers pick up another key win in the District 7-5A race.
Jane's Memorial Chapel is the only family-owned funeral home in Duncanville and is proud to offer caring and dedicated services from familiar friends. Rick Janes and his family, the owners of Jane's Memorial Chapel and Funeral Home, have served Duncanville area families in their time of loss since 1998. A beautiful and spacious chapel is offered, and Jane's serves all cemeteries. When it comes to finding people you can trust in a time of need, you can turn to Jane's Memorial Chapel. No one else knows families better. 811 South Cockrell Hill in Duncanville.
Okay, Scott, a couple of great wins. Also, each time we have a play of the week. And Scott? I'm not going to guess what it is. Can you tell us?
It's pretty obvious this week. Happened with a 0-2 count, nobody out on Tony Dominguez, bases loaded with a game tied at 3, and this was what happened. And in walk-off fashion, the Panthers dogpile on Tony Dominguez after a 4-3 victory. And that's why it's the Panther Play of the Week.
The Play of the Week is brought to us by Don and John Pope, the Pope Financial Group of Raymond James and Associates, right here in Duncanville at 222 East Wheatland, 972-780-0533.
With 1 week left and 2 games to go, these are the current District 7-5A standings. Mansfield's at top at 11-1, followed by Midlothian at 10-2. Your Duncanville Panthers are third at a record of 8-4, followed by Cedar Hill and South at 6-6. Mansfield Timberview is 4-8. Grand Prairie is 3-9, and DeSoto is at the bottom at 0-12.
So, Scott, it looks like to me if you win one of these last 2 games that you've got, you're in the playoffs in third place. Is that right?
That's what we have to do. 1 win solidifies the third place finish. If somehow we lose both in the upcoming week and both South and Cedar Hill win both of theirs, then we get into a scenario where District 7-5A rules kick in and there's a seeding process that takes place. So if we take care of business, we finish in third place, hands down, and get rolling in the postseason.
Good. Well, tell us who those last 2 games with.
We faced off against Mansfield Timberview on Tuesday, and then a season finale at Midlothian Friday night.
Well, Scott, best of luck in these last 2 games. Win one of those, and so we won't have to worry about any playoffs, okay? And then by-district will start the following week, correct? Mm-hmm. Great. Best of luck.
Thanks.
And thank you for joining us for this edition of Duncanville Weekly News in a Panther Dugout Show. As we close, let's see some scenes from Duncan Switch that was held last Saturday. We'll be back on May the 1st with highlights of the Panther games between now and then. And as we head into the spring, it's nothing but politics between here and the middle of May. We'll see you then.
Welcome to Duncan Switch.
Hello everyone, I'm Daniel, and Duncanville is already bike friendly.
So there was a girl that was showing.
Mother's Day's coming up next month. Yeah.
Hi, John Thompson. This is Al Moulton. I'm looking for you in my office. I know you are going to trade that red Camry. Waiting to see you, buddy.